Alright, so you guys are back on your ship after this long, hard battle. Got your prizes. You can make your way to Dantooine whenever.
Well, let's go there now.
No business you want to roleplay beforehand?
I don't know. Is it the beginning of the new month?
No, it's only been 3 days. I still have the counter. Can you pass me a napkin? Or a paper towel or whatever?
There you go. Let me make that lid.
Terrible. Or give me the whole stack.
I'm pretty good at maintaining a clean space, except for like the soda that I.
Yeah, that's all I need it for. Is I need to use it as a whatever it's called. Okay. So I guess you guys are gonna just go straight there then. All right. Let me do my counter. So let's see. That should be about a week to get there usually. That's usually how I count space travel. Alright, so eventually you guys finally return to Dantooine to meet with the Jedi Masters.
Do you have a pencil?
Here we go.
I guess I could have turned around and seen that.
There we go.
Oh, thank you.
No problem. Alright.
What are you doing to my character?
That's you, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
You're the other
Oh,
sheet.
be damn.
Were you starting to write on his?
I was fixing to.
Yours should be on the left.
Yours is loose.
Oh, mine is loose.
Yep.
Yeah.
Both of yours.
Do you want your character sheet?
I think that would be helpful, I suppose.
It's like I don't know if I want my character sheet at my.
I was about to write all over that motherfucker. I wrote all over mine. I'm trying to keep Aces clean. So I could just use B9s when he dies as a damn death note.
Let's see. So, you guys make your... I'm guessing you guys were just heading straight to the Enclave to meet them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, this time you're able to go to the upper levels. A place that neither of you have been, but JP's character, Senna, has been.
Oh, special.
Because remember, you guys went to the lower levels last time you were on Dantooine.
Yeah.
Because the upper was blocked off.
Yeah.
But now you're going to the upper. And you make your way to the council chamber, which is now this big open field. It used to be a closed-in area. But the damage from the years and the bombing has caused it to where now it's an open field with actual grass and everything too. So Rook looks over, the old man one, the one that's very Ed Asner-ish.
Oh shit.
He looks at you and says, "It is not as it was." And by the way, Meetra is with you, because Meetra, obviously, this is her big thing too.
Yeah.
Zezkael adds,
Ooh.
"But perhaps that is for the best." Kavar says, "We were wondering when you would arrive. This moment has taken some time to reach us, and I imagine you have many questions." Brooke says, "Or perhaps you have come for vengeance."
Hmm.
There is a pause before Meetra responds. "I need to know what you spoke of when you cast me out of the Order many years ago." Brooke says, "You already know the answer. You noticed it in those who travel with you." "What are you talking about?" Zezkai adds. "Have you noticed that when you act, others follow?" Kavar continues to add, "Those that travel with you." Did nobody stay on the ship, I'm guessing?
No, I didn't stay on the ship.
Okay.
And to that, I'd be like, follow. What?
Zezkai responds, "Yes. When it comes to Meetra's special abilities, whenever she acts, those that are around her follow her without question, without hesitation."
You damn right I do.
Brooke says, "Against their instincts and sometimes against their sense."
You damn right I do.
Kavar adds, "It is because she is a leader, but that still fails to grasp the meaning of what I'm trying to tell her and you."
Just to let you know, I was being B9.
Yeah. I figured.
Okay. I left Asen on the ship.
No, I figured.
I'm gonna leave one of the two.
Yeah, Asen, I'm assuming is on his yacht, not on the actual party ship.
On the
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Because there's the yacht and then there's the Hawk.
Mm-hmm.
Meetra says, "Are you saying I'm controlling them?" Rook says, "It is not an easy thing to explain. Surely you are familiar with force bonds." It is.
I'm sure you're just accusing her because she's a better leader than you are.
He's accusing her because she's hot.
It is the bond that develops between apprentice and master. In case you didn't know.
Well, really haven't had a solid master to understand that concept. So
Hadn't been one. Hadn't been one in the last 100 years or so.
Well, it's what happens when one truly understands another. It is developed over time. Their understanding of each other.
So where do you think that I just blindly follow her comes into play if I haven't ever been her student?
Kavar decides to answer that for you. She makes connections through the Force, and it resonates with those who travel with her. She doesn't have to be a master or an apprentice to them. The resonance is even greater when they, too, are Force sensitive.
No.
Well, I'm not force sensitive.
Yeah,
I still do it.
explain
Have
that
you
one.
seen her ass? Well, I think it's pretty easy to explain why B9 would do it.
Zekai clears his throat. Well, he decides to speak to Meetra directly. As it feels kind of weird that everybody's talking about her while she's in the room.
Right. I'm trying to make her feel
Meetra,
uncomfortable.
do explain how you've been controlling us all this time.
Dirty swine.
So Zekai says to her directly, your actions affect others more than you know. You draw others to you, especially those strong in the Force. Kavar adds, when you suffer, their spirit echoes it, and when they are in pain, their pain becomes yours. And now Meetra asks, well, how did this happen? Because obviously that's a pretty important question if you are to believe that any of this is real.
Yeah.
Kavar says, well, you do not know, but it is not the first time you have felt the weight of so many lives. Zekai says, and that is why the Mandalorian Wars echo within you still.
Oh, man.
Meetra says, so all those deaths at Malachor,
You can drink some mine if you want to.
and she gets cut off before she can finish her question. Brooke cuts her off, and he says, we did not cut you off from the Force. You were merely deafened to it, because of that last battle of the Mandalorian Wars. Zekai says, the screams of countless thousands, Jedi and Mandalorians crushed by the planet's gravity, annihilated. And Kavar adds even further upon this, their lives still scream across the surface of that dead planet, and within you. To hear the Force over such pain, it is not possible. It was too much for any Jedi to endure. And it is a wonder that you did not die there when thousands perished, all those who you had fought with and struggled with. You cut yourself off because you had to if you were to survive. You had hints of it in the war at Duxon. Malachor was simply the final blow. So basically, from what you can get from what they're saying, basically they're saying you know how she's been trying to figure out, why was she cut off by the Jedi Council? Da 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 da. She cut herself off. Is their common theory. So yeah, so basically this whole quest, it turns out it was on her. It turns out that the actual war. So I don't know if she's talked to you about Malachor yet. I don't think so.
She's only mentioned the place Malachor, but she hadn't actually.
She actually talked about what happened there.
No, she only mentioned it, and that's it.
So basically, Malak had a big bomb that he had her set off, and it was basically a gravity bomb that killed everybody and everything that was on the planet. And all that death was just too much for her. But she was right there, like above it in the atmosphere.
Don't I have empathic abilities to move her into content to awaken the force within her? I'm pretty sure I do.
It was brought back through another means.
Oh. If I'd known that, I would have just used my own.
It's already been brought back.
I was going to say, she was using force powers.
Yeah, it's already been brought back. So Rook says, you were deafened. Kavar says, you were broken. And Zeskai says, you were blinded.
You were a bitch. Sorry. You were in such a role, I just had to ask.
No, it's fine. And Rook says, when you returned to us, we saw what had happened. You carry all those debts that Malachor within you, and it has left a hole, a hunger that cannot be filled. Kavar says, in you we saw a wound in the Force. Zeskai says, in you we saw the end of the Force.
Mm.
And Meetra says, my connection to the Force is even stronger than before. And Rook says, yes, you can feel the Force, but you cannot feel yourself. You are a cipher, forming bonds, leeching the life of others, and siphoning their will and dominating them. It is the teaching of these new Sith to feed on others, on other Force sensitives. They are symptomatic of the wound in the Force. You are a breach that must be closed. You transmit your pain, your suffering through the Force. Within you, we see something worse than merely the teachings of the Sith. What you carry may mean the death of the Force, and the death of the Jedi.
Ooh, shit.
Meetra says, I am stronger than I ever was. Rook says, so you think. It is not the strength of a Jedi you feel. Zeskai looks over and he says, he's right. It's all the death you've caused to get here. You feed on it, and you grow stronger. You're like Malachor. It's in you. It's what you are now. You must have noticed as you fought across all these planets, killing hundreds, only to become more and more powerful. Why do you think that was? Kavar adds, but what's worse is that bonding you have. It hasn't gone away. It's gotten stronger. And the more attachments you form, the more you draw others to you. Rook says, and that is why you are a threat to us all. What if other Jedi went to war as you did, suffered the same events, and emerged as you did? What if there was a crucible that trained such Jedi to consume and kill?
Just so you know, there is. It's,
Are you thinking of the Morban one?
her name is Senna. Just so you know. It's a little late.
Senna is not of the dark side.
Senna just knows how to train them to become dark side.
She real knows how to pick
Yeah,
them.
she knows how to do it, boy.
Hold on. In the mass of all the Sith, all the Padawans you have, I bet I can't pick a single one, but Senna can choose them all.
Well,
her talents exceed her abilities.
Zeskai looks over at Meetra and says, well, she will be the one to lead the Sith here, and that we cannot allow. And Vrook says, our judgment before remains exile. You must leave, and must leave with your tie, without your tie to the Force. It is a punishment reserved for only a few, and only when necessary. But we have the power to cut you off from the Force, and it must be done. Kavar says, forgive us, but it is necessary. Meetra says, I won't give up the Force. Stop this.
Before we do all that nonsense, I ask to take Meetra's hand so I can see all that I can about her.
Okay. So what are you trying to figure out specifically?
I'm trying to figure out what she had went through, because they're saying that her emergence is what has caused her to become so dark, and I don't really think that that's the case. I think they're honestly scared of her for a different reason.
Who's this again?
They're just using
Meetra, yeah.
They're just using an event in her past to keep her from being part of the Jedi Order, and I'm going to put a stop to that if I can. I'm going to look at her past, her present, and I'll even take 5 strain to look into her future as clearly as I can.
Let's just look at what we know about her before you do that. I mean, she come with what's the other one's name? Kreia.
And also, Gonk, or Gank.
Gank, yeah.
Yeah, because that's when you met her, was when she had those 3.
Right.
Honestly, I can't remember everything though, so.
But neither one of, well, I can't say neither one of them. But Meetra's not Sith.
Well,
So I'm going to look into her past.
Okay. So you see the horrors of Malachor and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And you see that she's the one, yes, she was indeed the one who had the bomb go off, because she was one of Malak's generals.
Mm-hmm.
And you do see her pain and suffering from the bomb and the death.
So would I be able to gather that from the pain that she's suffering right now, she's repentant, or she is?
Well, that pain was from that was in the past. That was the present of the past, is what I mean. Like, she was visually in pain, like if you're looking into the past.
Mm-hmm.
So like you see that she was on her knees and all that when it happened. But it wasn't because of like regret, it was more of a physical, actual pain she was having. And you can see that you see something strange happen. That's a technique that you have not seen before.
Mm.
And you can guess that the Masters are actually kind of right. She did cut herself off. Somehow. And strangely enough, she didn't know that she did this to herself. You can also see that it did create they've been trying to call it, a kind of death spot to the Force. Like there's no Force in her spirit, essentially, like it was gone. And you can also see that when the bomb went off on Malachor, it did the same thing to the entire planet. All the deaths of all those people created that. So the entire planet on Malachor is like that as well.
Well, would you say that the fact that she allowed this bomb to go off killed what little spirit of
The Force.
Force was in her, or would you say that the simply knowing that all those people died killed her from the Force?
It was the bomb, because without the bomb going off in the way it did, it would not have caused her. It wouldn't have caused that much death to kill the Force on that planet, as well as to cause her to have to cut herself off.
Mm. Now, flash forwarding to the events before we meet her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, 4 or 5 years before we meet her.
You can see that it's just her in exile without her powers.
Okay.
Like no people around her at all.
I'm going to start looking past this point. If she heads down, heads down the.
So now she's trying to get future.
Yeah.
Wait, don't get future yet.
Why?
I want to see how her and, like, you need to keep looking right there where you were, like, past when she starts getting her powers back. Like, how does she do?
Okay, let's look at that then.
So are you trying to see how she got her powers back?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and see how the powers have flowed back into her.
So what you can kind of see is, it's probably my dad.
It's a G. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what you can kind of see is it's when she met with Kreia.
If you want to drink it.
While she was on, you remember them talking about Paragus and how it blew up and all that?
Mm.
It was while she was on that planet that she actually started to reacquire powers while she's with Kreia.
Okay.
And you can, are you trying to see like how, like, are you trying to
Like,
go into her mind?
I'm more or less trying to figure out how she unlocked herself from the cutoff of the Force. What event seemed to trigger her abilities to return to her.
So from what you can see, it's, once again, the Masters are kind of right, and that being around Kreia is what activated it.
So Kreia is the cause, not Meetra herself.
Well, Kreia is the cause of her powers re-emerging. Or it's,
So,
more of Meetra being around people.
Yeah, no, it's not Kreia. It's just Kreia's existence and being a part of her life
Yeah.
that is bringing her to unlock herself.
And you can,
More or less.
if you were to,
'cause this
and
is
I'm going to
something-
assume you're going to study more. So in studying more, you notice that the more people, like actual living people that she surrounded herself with, you notice that she does become more powerful. And you start to realize, out of game, in case you didn't notice, she did become more powerful the more you guys hung around her.
Dude,
Well-
I'm fixing to man her room with like 1,000 people.
So it is kind of what the Masters are saying, in that she is, in a way, leeching off of the existence of people.
But would you
But
say...
not with, it's not purposeful. She's not doing this purposefully.
So what we could do is try to get a read on how she's doing it, get her to focus on other ways to get her force powers back, and then she wouldn't be such a danger.
But wait,
Rather
what's
than-
so... What's so... I'm sorry, I mean...
Because the more people she's around, the more powerful she is.
Correct.
So
But it also
so,
can
like-
create issues in that it would weaken other people around her, maybe.
Yeah. So
No, that's what I was fixing to ask.
She's-
What's the downside?
yeah,
to all
she's technically
She's technically a leech.
yeah, she's technically
Because
a-
in my
a
red
force
eyes, they
leech.
look great. I was just saying, it looks good from here.
Well, also, you're a robot, which means you're not being leeched.
True, yeah, and I'm Sith, so I don't want to marry her. She can leech them all to death. I wouldn't care.
But there has to be another solution, rather than taking off somebody who was part of
Well,
the
they're not
council.
killing her. They're just taking her
They're-
force powers
They're taking
back.
her force powers, which is a part of her. They're killing a part of her, which is killing the rest of her.
To be fair,
Okay,
she
yeah.
survived 5 years without it.
She had to have been around somebody to keep her alive, though.
I mean, she stayed alive. She just didn't need people.
Mm.
She was in true exile.
Yeah, but that's a part of her. Like,
Yeah. I mean, it's why she went on this whole journey.
yeah. I honestly, I see where they're coming from, but it's still
Now that you've seen,
yeah. Now let's
now you're getting out of the
no,
vision.
we're still going forward.
Okay.
If she continues down the path that she's on, what do I see?
So, are you saying if she continues down this path without, if you can stop the Jedi from doing what they're doing right now?
Yeah.
I have to calculate things that may or may
Hey,
not
Pops.
happen then. Trying to calculate all the things, because if you were to do it right now, I have to know. Let's see. Okay. You see that you see her kind of leading down the dark side and starting to kind of
Here's
do
some
what you're
sauce.
thinking. What they're thinking, except really what they're going to end up doing. You see a void in the Force being created if she continues down this path without their interference.
But
So-
made by her.
It is unclear,
Okay.
but she is there.
Okay. What if we were to have, I don't know, specialized interventions where we would monitor her powers and
It's hard to focus on that.
give alternatives or something like that. What if we were to figure out some sort of an alternative?
It's kind of hard to get a vision like that because now you're asking a bunch of what ifs, and it's hard for. You can't really tell a vision to look at a what if.
Right.
Really, this is your vision that you're getting right now. That's really
Okay.
what you're going to get. So are you coming out of the vision that way?
Yeah, I'm coming.
We're gonna assume that the vision takes place over like 5 seconds. Like you see all of this.
Because
and
mental thought supersedes everything else.
Otherwise, they would have been acting while you were in this.
Yeah.
Okay, so you come out of it.
Okay. So, if she is left unmonitored from what I saw
From this point,
if she's left unmonitored, she will be going down a dark path, but not from what I can tell of her own volition. It's just how things are. If we can monitor her abilities and maybe try to police her aspects of her abilities to a more positive thing and find alternatives to her force leeching that's basically what you're calling it right now, we could potentially save her from herself as well as everybody else around her.
Well,
and I think that would be a more noble cause than just straight up cutting her off from the force, because that tells me that you're afraid of her, and that will lead you down to the path of darkness yourselves.
Well, I just need to tell Meetra one thing.
Mm-hmm.
You will continue to suffer if you have an emotional reaction to everything that is said to you. I'm reading this, so. Do you know what this comes from?
I'm waiting.
Okay. True power is sitting back and observing everything with logic, like somebody did. If words can control you, that means everyone else can control you. Breathe and allow things to pass.
Buddha? I feel like that's Buddha.
No, he might have pulled
Is it
from
fiction?
Buddha. No, it's a real quote by a real famous,
Okay.
like real life person.
Sounds like a Martin Luther King thing also.
Gandhi.
No, it is more of an Asian thing.
Oh, okay.
I feel like that's Gandhi or Sun Tzu.
Yeah, it's probably, yeah.
Actually, at a game.
Yeah, no,
That-
you're good.
That's a famous quote from a Bruce Lee interview.
Oh,
Bruce Lee
Okay.
said that.
that actually makes sense with his lifestyle.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I ask you, let's take the harder route because it could be the better route.
They ponder on it for a second. And they decide. And without a word, they all three raise their hands and a force field is created around you all, preventing you from being able to escape this room.
That means they don't agree and we're going to have to kill some bitches.
Root calmly says, and it's around you so you can't, like, attack them either. Like, it's a circle type thing.
Okay.
Root says, do not be afraid. You shall feel no pain. But this must be done. As long as she can feel the force, she is a danger to those around her.
You're going down a dark path. You will all be Sith by the time you're done.
Wait, this is great.
You ready? As they're about to do something, Kreia walks in behind you all and with a demanding voice declares, "Enough!" As she declares this, she force pushes all three masters away from Meetra and onto their backs. Kreia says, "Step away from her." Brooke stands back up. Brooke says, "What?" And he attempts to make his way back towards Meetra, but is pushed away again. Kreia says, "Step away. They have brought truth, and you condemn it? The arrogance. You will not harm them. You will not harm Meetra ever again." And Kavar says, he looks over and you can see a spark of recognition on his face as he looks at Kreia. For the first time, from what you can tell, it's a recognition. Like, you have noticed that none of them have recognized her until this moment. Kavar says, "I thought you had died in the Mandalorian Wars." Kreia says, "Die? No. Became stronger." Oh, you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just went down the wrong pipe.
And Rook says, he looks over to Meetra and he says, "Is this your new master, Exile? If so, then you follow Malik's path." Her teachings will cause you to fall as surely as he did. Zezkai says, she is difficult to see. She's like a shadow of the exile. The masters all ignite their lightsabers. Zezkai continues, we sought to lure the Sith out, and now they have come to us. Kreia says, how could you ever hope to know the threat that you face when you have never walked in the dark places of the galaxy, faced war and death on such a scale? If you have traveled far enough rather than waiting for the echo to reach you, perhaps you would have seen it for what it was. Did you not hear its call on Dantooine Vrook, on its scarred surface and in the minds of the settlers? I have endured your corruption with my other students. You shall not have this one. And you, Kavar, so close to the call of Duxon, tell me, did you not feel what poured from the moon, what had taken place there? And Zez-Kael, to hide upon Narshada, yet blind yourself to all that happens there. So close to understanding the Force, so close to giving it up. There is a place in the galaxy where the dark side of the Force runs strong. It is something of the Sith, but it was fueled by war. It corrupts all that walks on its surface, drowns them in the power of the dark side. It corrupts all life, and it feeds on death. Malak knew the power of such places, and the power in making them. They can be used to break the will of others, of Jedi, promising them power, and turning them to the dark side. Did you never wonder how Malak corrupted so many of the Jedi? So much of the Republic so quickly? The Mandalorian Wars were a series of massacres that masked another war, a war of conversion, culminating into a final atrocity that no Jedi could walk away from, save one, pointing at Meetra. And that is what I sought to understand, how one could turn away from such power, give up the Force, and still live. But I see what happened now. It is because you were afraid. As you would pass judgment on her, I have come to pass judgment on you all. Do you wish to feel the teachings born of the Mandalorian Wars? Of all tragedies that scream across the galaxy? Let me show you. You, who have forever seen the galaxy through the Force, see it through the eyes of the exile. She raises her hand, and suddenly a blast comes from Kreia, draining the Force from the Masters. Kreia then leaves.
You go, girl!
Hey everyone, thank you for checking out the video. If you enjoyed what you just saw, be sure to give us a like, comment, and subscribe. If you don't want to miss any of our content, be sure to hit the bell icon where you will be notified anytime we upload a video. Also, if you wish to watch RPG Workshop live, you can follow Studio Bastion on Twitch. There you can also enjoy his gameplay live streams and other podcasts that are in production. Also, if you like what we're doing here at Escape Reality Films, be sure to check out our Patreon and support us, and get some cool rewards in return.